Okay, we're back. We're continuing to work in Word 2016 Module 2, and we're starting the second part in um, editing documents on page Word 32. And if you've missed the first part, if you'll go back to Blackboard and look under More Content, you'll find that. Okay, we're going to begin with step 1, and we're going to choose the Replace button in the editing group. And we're going to click the More in Find and Replace dialog box. And then we're going to type Find. Sorry, the dialog box was not on the screen. Let me just put it over here. Okay, here we are. Okay, in Find What, we are going to, let me go back to choose list. So More, and then in Find What, we're going to type Luncheon. Okay, and we're going to tab and type Lecture in Replace With. And then for step 4, we want to make sure we select Match Case checkbox. Okay. This means that if we find something lowercase, it's going to skip that particular word. Okay, and next we're going to select Replace All. Okay, and it made 3 replacements. So then we're going to say OK to close out the message box. And then we're going to close the Find and Replace dialog box. Okay. Now we're going to use the Find button in the editing group. Again, you notice that it opens up a navigation pane for us to find words that or phrases that we need to find in the Word document. And we want to find the word luncheon, but this is lowercase, so let me type that in. Okay, and you notice that it's highlighted. So this is step 8 on page Word 32, and it asks us to check figure 2-8 on the opposite page to make sure that it looks the same, and it does. So next we're going to check, we're going to use the close button in the navigation pane to close it out, and that's step 9. And then for step 10, we're going to press Control and Home on our keyboard to move back to the top of our document, and then we're going to save the document. Okay. Remember, we're using our Quick Access toolbar to do that. Now we're going to move over to page Word 34. We're going to check spelling and grammar. So we're going to right click on Source, and for step 1, and then for step 2 we're going to choose to ignore all. Then we're going to press Control and Home keys on our keyboard for step 3, which takes us back to the beginning of our document. And then we're going to click the Review tab and then over in the Proofing group we're going to find the Spelling and Grammar button, which is here. Okay, you'll see that it brings up the word inaugural as being misspelled. And so for step 4, we want to use change it to the correct spelling. And then it also finds that we have a duplicate word. We have R listed twice. As this is not needed, we're going to choose delete for step 5. OK, and say OK to close that. OK. Now we're going to use Control and Home to move back to the beginning of the document. And we're going to save our document again. So we're saving the document on a regular basis to avoid losing our work. So now we're going to move over to page Word 36. Up at the top, we're going to scroll until the headline is displayed at the top of our screen. Okay, so we have the headline at the top of our screen, and we want to select Noted in the first sentence of the 3rd paragraph. So here it is. There we go. And then we want to click the Thesaurus button in the proofing group. Okay, and then we want to point to prominent in the list of synonyms, and we want to look at the list arrow, and then we want to choose insert. So we're going to choose insert, and you notice noted is going to change to prominent. Okay. Okay, we're going to right click on a numeral in the first sentence of the first paragraph. And point to the synonyms. And then we're going to click numerous. So you're going to see that's going to change that. We're going to select 4 paragraphs in the text body. And then we're going to go up to the proofing group under review, and we're going to look at the word count. So this might be helpful if you're writing a paper. So we're going to use close, and then we're going to use Control and Home to move back up to the top of our page. And we're going to save the document. And then we're going to go to the File tab and use Save As. And we're going to navigate to where we save our files. And we're going to rename this, but we're just going to add public on the back end of it. So okay. Next, we're going to be on page Word 38. In step 1, we're going to be working with hyperlinks. So we want to select our name. And on the Insert tab, we're going to find the Hyperlinks button in the Links group. So here's your Links group. And we're going to select Hyperlink. We're going to choose the email address option. And for our we're going to type our email address in the email address text box, and we're going to type San Diego Lecture Series in the subject box, and then we're going to say OK. Okay, so we have our email address in the email address text box, and we've typed San Diego Lecture Series under subject. Then we're going to say OK. We're going to press Control, and then we're going to click on our name, and you notice that you get, notice the pointer changes. And I'm going to choose this. So you'll be able to actually use that to prompt for an email message. Okay, we're going to close that down now. Okay, we're going to scroll down and select gas lamp quarter in the second paragraph, and then we're going to select in the Insert tab, and in the Links, we're going to choose Links group, we're going to choose Hyperlink, and this time we're going to choose Existing File or Web Page, and we're going to type www.gaslamp.org in the address text box. Okay. And then we're going to say OK. And then we're going to right click on quarter in the hyperlink we just created, and we're going to choose Edit Hyperlink. And we're going to add a screen tip. So up at the top right, you're going to find screen tip. And we're going to type in map, parking, and other information about Gaslamp Quarter. Then we're going to say OK and OK. So if you hover over, you can see that text from the screen tip actually pops up, so you can see that. And then we're going to hold the Control key again to actually use the hyperlink. And we'll see that the web page actually opens up. Okay, we're going to close that now. We're going to press Control and Home to go back to the top. And we're on page Word 40. Okay, we're on the top of page Word 40, and step 1, we're going to use the File tab. And we're going to show all properties. We're going to first make sure we got info selected. So info is selected. And then we're going to show all properties. And you see they have people who've added information to this file. And we're going to choose the Check for Issues button in the Inspect. Okay, we're going to save the document. Okay, so it did prompt us to save, so just go ahead and save. Okay, we're going to inspect the document. So it came up with something in here that it suggests we remove. And so for the steps, step 5, it does say for us to remove all of the document properties and personal information. So we're going to use remove all, and then we're going to use close.